Hey my crafty friends, this is Terry Marcus with the Yaya Collection, and I'm back for part 3 of our little 6x6 mini. We've made the frame of it, we've made the hinges and the signatures, and put the flips and flaps on the signatures. So I'm back to show you how I decorated it. I chose to do a Christmas, and I had these 2 paper pads that I got last year at Michael's when they had buy one get 2 free, and I've used them quite a bit last year. So this one had plaids, and then this one had some other things in it. So I combined these 2 pads for the papers in this. So here's signature 1. And I still need to figure out what we're going to put on the inside there. And then here's the back of it. And then signature 2, remember we had this little pocket, and then we made this little folder that flips in there. So on the back, we are going to do some cascading flips. So I saved this to show you how to do. So the first thing we needed to do, and all the papers I cut between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch all the way around smaller. So this piece is 5 5/8 by 5 1/2. So that gives you an idea. It just depends on how much of a frame you want around your paper and your design. Some people like just a tiny little one, and some like a little more. A lot of this book you could do with a 6x6 paper pad, because most of the papers in it are less than 6x6. So the first thing we have to do is lay down our background. And remember we had 3 flips to put on here. So these are the papers I chose. And I cut these 4 3/8 by 3 7/8. We have a 1/2 inch turned over. So we'll glue these on. And flips can be done lots of different ways. I do them different ways depending on the album. This is a really simple, easy way to do one, so if you're a beginner, I thought this would be a good way to teach you how to do them. You can make all of your papers the same. Again, this is your album. You do what you want. You can add this kind of flip to a scrapbook page. I've done them on a card, on the cover of a card. Lots of uses, so flips are good. And again, I'm still using my art glitter glue. I get it at, again, my local craft store, which is the Paper Inn, or if Marjorie's out of the big bottles, then I'll order it from maymaymadeit.com. Right, and then you need a 4th piece. So what you're going to do is take your very top flip, whichever one you've decided is the top, and we're going to mount it to the top of your page here. So center it. I'm putting it right to the edge of the paper. Then your next one is going to attach right there. So what I do is I line it up, and before I press it and commit, I make sure that when this is folded down, my edges align, because you want your flaps to lay flat. And then we do the third one. And if you have a bigger album, you can do more flips. I've done up to 6, I think. So again, line it up right there. Before I commit, I want to make sure that that'll lay on there flat. All right. And then I've got this last piece, and I just put it flat on the bottom here to make it look finished. I'm going to cover up this little edge here. Center it. Now you could put a journaling card here. Mostly what I do is I leave the backs of these, and I'll show you what I do to make them into journaling cards. When I decorate, I will go ahead and, oops, I forgot to put my tab in. And this is why I use wet glue. So we need this tab to keep everything in place. So see, nothing's perfect. We all make mistakes. I'll make a little mark right there. Center that. We're going to put a magnet so it holds all of those down. Because there's a magnet over here, that'll hold it. Or I can put one on the back of here. And then we can put this down. Okay, you want to make sure you can still bend that. So we'll end up putting a piece here. There you go. So that's those two sides. Then this is signature 3. That'll go like this. And this paper had sparkles all over the top, so I used it there. And then I put a few more here. This is a little pocket. This is a flat little pocket, so it's kind of thin. And I put another little pull. Then when you turn it, this is 3 and this is 4. The back of 3 and the front of 4. Excuse me. So we mirrored these. So they open, and I did them exactly the same, and then they open like this. And this paper had this really pretty scene, so that's going to be the center of my book. So that's 3, And that's the back of 4. Another pull, even though I have a magnet. And again, a belly band right here. So those two go together. And then I saved these last 2 for us to do together. So here's the one with the little book. And this is what I ended up doing, is I put a little pocket in here, and there was this little cut apart. So I put that there, and I can still put some papers in here. To make the pocket, what I did was took my paper, and I slid it in here until it was all the way in. I drew a line, and then when I cut just this side of the line to give me a little relief, and then glued it on. So that was really easy. And then you turn it over, and we're going to glue this piece on. So I saved this to show you how we do with the magnets. So I peel off the tape on my pen, and I've rounded the corners. A piece of paper is cut at 5 5/8 by 4 1/4. And you need to measure yours, because not every cutter cuts exactly the same, I've found. And so your cutter may be off an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch from mine. So it's best for you to measure each one. And then you just center this on here. And please be careful with magnets. These are very dangerous. If a child swallows these, it can attach on either side of their stomach and intestines. They're just very dangerous. I keep mine hidden away when my grandkids are going to be here, because I don't want anything to happen to them. So here's the inside. I think these are a 32nd of an inch thick. And I honestly don't know. They come in millimeters, so it's really confusing. But I've got these littler ones, and then I've got some bigger ones for if I've got a big project, one that's really heavy. This has little sparkles in it too. So here's another page. And I just write my measurements on here with pencil. It's not going to bleed through. So you can feel comfortable doing that. If you want to erase it, this is the kind of eraser I use. It's from Statler Mars Plastic. It's like an architect's eraser. You can tell I've had this for a very long time. You can get them, I'm sure, from your local craft store, from Amazon, an art store. Okay, so we have another magnet right here. I'm in the process of getting number 2 loaded up onto YouTube. So you'll have seen that hopefully by the time I get this one edited and up. This is 5 1/2 and a 1/16 plus 5 5/8 and a 1/16. I put a plus if I need to make it a 1/16 bigger than the closest 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch. It's just easier than me doing the math. But again, please measure yours. It may be different. Okay, so that's how that one turns out. And then this is our last one. This is the front of it. I'm gonna open this out so I can get, because I've got all those clips in there. So this one has a little belly band. Now this belly band, remember we folded some over so it would hold a little more. And I'm going to show you, if you're getting low on paper, you're not going to see in the middle of the belly band. So I cut these two as separate pieces. So I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but if you have a lot of stuff to do, it can add up. So I'm going to do those as two little pieces instead of one big piece. So these are 2.5. Just measure into so that you're just under whatever you could see a little bit. Again, like I said, if you like inking your edges, by all means do it. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I use my alcohol markers and just run it along the edge, the outside edge of everything, because I'm not a big fan of the white edge. So it just depends what you can see and what you want to do. Excuse my head. And dry fit everything before you glue it, in case you need to nip off a little bit. Okay, you want to line this up with the one above it. Get it centered. Can remember which. See how there's a white edge here? I'm not a big fan of that. So normally I would have used my alcohol marker and gone along the edge of it. Okay, so after we're done with this, we're going to put the book together, and we're getting close to the end. Okay, so now we'll turn over. This is our very last side of the signature. Now I have to remember what I put on the outside here. There we go. All right, I haven't nipped the corners. And I think I'll put a little ribbon on there to use as an opener, and I can show you how I do that. Again, my trusty score tape. This I just used a really thin. I got on sale last year at Michael's. This just gives some extra security to, since you'll be pulling up. And pull it off, glue it down. Excuse my head. So we got a little bit of rain today. Not much, just a little shower. I know some people in Texas and Louisiana, my heart and prayers go out to them. They're just struggling with that hurricane. Okay, the centerpiece. And if you're like me, I think most of the people I know, we all struggle with picking papers, and it never gets easier. Let me just tell you that. Never gets easier. A friend of mine told me, pick what you love, and you know, when you see it, you'll know. When you're doing lots of patterns like this, the key for mixing patterns is you want to keep the commonality of colors. So I chose this for the back. So I've got green, red, and black. So you'll see that I've incorporated that in all the pages somehow. And the scale of it, which is the size, is different. Like this is the largest, this is the smallest. This is a little more medium, and then we have a stripe. So by having different scales of pattern, they will mix and look fine. If I did everything in a big one or everything as sprawling as that, it would look way too busy. I also try to keep a common color theme going throughout my book. So when I'm looking at papers, the first thing I choose is my cover. And then if I've got a center page like this one does that I want to make a statement with, like a double fold, then I pick that one next and I build off of that. So see, so I had to make sure that when these are closed up and you see them as you open them, that they will work together. So the green and the red, the scale of everything, I kept that all in mind. It's not hard. Anybody can do it. Just takes practice. I buy a lot of paper that is polka dots and stripes and little things like this, because they make great, what I call background papers, things that I can work in when I can't find anything else to work, when I've got multiple pages. Those can always be used. So I have a whole section in my papers over there of just stripes and polka dots. Little things like this are great background. And I buy things like that when they're on clearance, so I can stock up on them. My local craft store always has a bit of papers that are out of season by a season or two or so, and I go through those, and she's selling them at like 80 cents a page or 50 cents a page or whatever, and I will go through and stock up on good background kind of papers. I'm kind of a paper fanatic. I love paper. I love the smell of it. I love the sound of it. So you can see how it's easy to put a journaling tag on these pages, or to put a photo on them, or a couple of photos to tell a story. You could put photos on all these outer pages and use this center page as your journal page. And make sure, if your patterns are directional, that it's going, like this one will be seen this way. So you want to make sure it's correct when you put it on there. And I've been known not to. I get distracted easily. Can't find my magnet. One there. So this is it. So these are all of our signatures. Now, remember I told you couldn't fold your album? So now's the time to fold it. So these are the papers I picked for my front cover and my inside cover. So what you do is, I take a big spatula like this and put it where it's going to crease, and you just slowly kind of bounce it up. At this point, everything should be good and dry, so there shouldn't be any buckling. And then I go to the other side. There you go. All right, so we're going to put our signatures in, and we're going to put our covers on. So this is my spine. Let me get some ribbon. I'll be right back. Okay, back. So we're going to do this ribbon a little different than I did the last one. The last one, I wrapped it under all the papers. So this time I'm going to show you a different way to do it. So you're going to find, well, first of all, I'm going to find the center of my spine. And I'm going to put score tape find the center of my ribbon. Put it down in the center here. And then I'm going to glue my spine on. Excuse my hand. Trying to get it centered on here and straight. And when I decorate the cover, I'll anchor this here and here. So this is the front of our book. So this is our cover piece. And these are 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. So see, you could use a 6 by 6 book for pretty much all of the inside of this. And 6 by 6 books are inexpensive. You can find 6 by 6 books at your local crafter shop. I know Marjorie, most of her 12 by 12 collections, she gets 6 by 6 books. Some collections have 8 by 8s. Tuesday Morning has 6 by 6s. And then here's our inside. So I chose the stripe for the inside. So I chose the stripe for the inside. Again, just get it centered. And look how nice those corners look that we did. They really look pretty. Now we're going to work on putting our signatures in. So as you'll see, I've put score tape on each side of our hinges. So I'm going to finish these 2 hinges with you. And I used my 3/8 inch. And I put it towards the top. Not all the way to the top, but towards the top. And you need tape on both sides. I use tape, but then we're also going to use our wet glue. Okay. Now you'll see how I've cut these at a little bit of an angle. We're going to do that same thing, about a 45-degree angle. You want to get down. This will make it a little easier to get your signatures on to your hinges. Okay, so see how they don't have to be exact or anything. All right, so this is the front of our book and this is the back of their book. I start at the back of the book. And when I was first starting out, this was the scariest part for me. Take your tape off. I run some glue because that gives me some time to manipulate my page and get it exactly where I want it. Now, you're going to leave a little bit of a relief between where that crease is and up here. So, this is our last signature. I'm going to slip it on the hinge and get it centered. Get it straight. We'll make sure it's sitting in here straight. And then push down. So you see how you've got, there's the edge of where your hinge works, but the book is up here. So there's about a 1/16 of an inch. Okay. So we do the same thing over here. And then just like we did on our our cascading flips, made sure that they laid straight on the flip behind it. You're going to want to do the same thing here. So get some glue, it gives you time to move it around. Open it up. Remember, you can reach all the way through. Slip your hand on here, your hinge on here. And you're going to want to get it straight, the one under it. Get it down on the hinge far enough. Make sure it's straight. And then commit. So the tape will grab it, and then the glue, once it dries, will keep it pretty solid. Okay, we want to make sure we got it in the right direction. These two are going to be facing each other. And we've got this center part. We slip it on. When we get done and we go, the next stage is decorating it. You can put a little strip of paper down here if you want. In those gussets. Okay, remember these two face each other. So you want to make sure you can get your hand all the way through so you don't accidentally glue it there. I did that once. It was not fun. You spend all this time and then fortunately I was able to get it apart before the glue set. Straight. Commit. Two more. Glue. This is the front. This is where we can go through. See, with that angle there, it makes it so easy to get your signature on there and get it straight and lined up. Last signature. So there's the front of your book. 1, 2, 3, and then this. Look how cute that looks. So the last thing to do now is to decorate the book and put all the little, what I call jewelry bells and whistles on it. And there you go. You got a little album. So I'll come back after I get this all decorated. But in the meantime, you can finish your book. I'd love to see it once you're done. I have a Facebook page called the Yaya Collection. So feel free to post your projects up there. If you have any questions, holler at me. But we've got two cute little books, totally different and full of pictures or full of ways to put pictures in. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for sticking with me. And this is Terry Marcus with the Yaya Collection. And leave messages. Please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. I appreciate you guys. Bye.